Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy at the request of Patreon subscriber Andrew. This is Blue-White Phelia Tempo. This is a deck that I have liked in the past. Phelia plus Quantum Riddler is a powerful interaction. And in the current metagame, which unfortunately I do need to record a Legacy video. And right now, and as I'm recording this, it's 5 days before the ban update, which means Fantasticar is legal for this video. I've not been queuing into it a lot, and they might not even ban it on the 10th. I don't know, but I was trying to avoid doing this, but the stars aligned, and it was time to record this particular video, which might be somewhat obsolete by the time it comes out. But currently, in my reality, Stifle and Consign to Memory line up well versus Fantasticar strategies and the combo that is at the top of the metagame right now. Tamiyo, of course, great. This is the build that's getting super low. 4 Wastelands, 3 Dazes, plus 4 Stifles, just really beating up on lands. Trying to scam a little bit. But you also can play blue-white. You can, like board out your Dazes, bring in Triumph of St. Catherine's, Wrath of the Skies, and become blue-white control. I really like this deck. I recorded Sultai Aloran a little while back. Sultai Aloran and blue-white Phelia would be my top choices if Eternal Weekend were tomorrow, which it is getting close. And of course, as I'm saying this, as far as I know, the Fantasticar is still legal in the format. So, information will change. But this is a deck I believe in. I like the play patterns. I like that it gives you a bunch of agency, a lot of small decisions to make while being powerful and proactive. I'm also going to try something different, which is join a Magic Online challenge. Normally, I'm recording in the middle of the day. Leagues are just the perfect way to do this. 24/7 access, but at the time I'm sitting down to record this, a challenge is supposed to start in 11 minutes for me, and I have the day clear. If this challenge fires, I'll be doing that. If the challenge doesn't fire, I'll play a normal league, but we might have a little bit extra on this league. Let's go do it. This is Blue-White Phelia. I am on the draw in round 1. I'm going to keep my hand. The challenge did fire, so we've got a Swiss tournament to play in today compared to a normal league. My hand is the threat dense hand rather than the reactive cantrippy hand. A Soul Guide Lantern. I could just wasteland this Urza Saga. Yeah, that card is pretty annoying. Drawn another Tamiyo. Oh, another one. Great. Can I have another wasteland for it? No, but I do have the combo to go with Tamiyo. There is one main deck Wrath of the Skies in my deck as far as cleaning up Urza Sagas go. I'm just going to grab a Tundra and get to work here. And my opponent's deck, the premier Urza Saga deck right now, is the Sewer Valence Cam combo deck. That deck does not play Ancient Tomb, though. Oh, wow. We're just against Red Prison or Red Stompy. What did they pitch? Boomy Zooms? Okay. We're against Red Stompy with Urza Saga in it. Fair enough. Hey, I can get a basic Plains into play. Oh, I drew Island. Easy money. Okay, I'm just going to pass here. And I'll fetch Plains. Phelia is pretty good into some number of constructs. All right, I'll fetch for my Plains before Pithing Needle can get me. Let's see what they want to do here. Lava Spur Boots. They want to apply pressure. A reasonable thing to do. A third Urza Saga. Okay. I see the vision. Okay, I'm going to take 9. And then I could start deleting constructs. But they can keep making them, and they're going to keep having haste if my opponent has more mana. And unfortunately here, developing Quantum Riddler doesn't help because the constructs are going to be bigger than that. Plussing Tamiyo doesn't help either. I'm going to brainstorm before I do anything else. If I find Wrath of the Skies, I just don't have to sweat any of the other stuff. Stifle. Okay, Stifle's really good here. I'm going to get rid of the second Stifle. I don't think I need 2 of those. And the Tamiyo. I do have another basic island, though. That's not that important. All right, Stifle and Tamiyo going away. I'll play Misty Rainforest, attack. I could pay the ward. Yeah, I'm not spending 2 mana here. I'll flicker out the bigger one. Or at least, I know they can re-equip the boot, but let's at least make them do that. And I'm going to fetch. I'll get basic island just in case. I'm going to stifle the ability to make more constructs, because that's my problem right now. And I'm going to hope they don't play broadside bombardiers. Uh-oh, a mountain. A lot of things kill me from a mountain. I'm at 1. Or Phelia is dead. Also fair. Okay, Swords to Plowshares is one of the better draws I could have. I don't know if it's good enough anymore. Oh, it's Island, Tameo to block, plow one of the creatures, flash in Phelia, turn the corner. That's what I got to do here. An opponent does get a search. Chrome Mox, unlocking more mana. Exiled Fury. The One Ring. Well, I don't want to play against this card, but there's nothing I can do about it right now. Okay, you draw a card. You're at 8. My plow is going to put you to more. I think plowing this Pyroglyph is worth doing. Oh yeah, I literally have to, because I want to play Phelia this turn as well. I was trying to think if giving them this extra life matters, but paying the ward matters a lot. Okay, construct token attacks. Have to block, or I lose. Phelia, get in, create a problem. Oh, don't have more stuff. What are you doing? Stop it. Okay, and set Phelia. Every creature having haste is going to continue to be an issue for me. All right, I will warp Quantum Riddler and see what that brings me. If I find a removal spell, I can flicker the Riddler instead. Nope, impossible. Yeah, I'm going to be 1 card short here. Because any card they play has haste from the Lava Spur Boots. And the creatures in their deck, Broadside Bombardiers, Pyrogoyf, like these things are all big enough to one-shot me. If only this force came with a blue card. And attacking is the same as not attacking, except they get to keep the construct. Like if I leave Phelia back to block, it's the same as flickering out the construct on a Phelia attack. And I don't think trying to spike a useful spell off of Quantum Riddler is better than just getting rid of the construct right now. Okay, we're in the danger hole. Cracking a Soul Guide Lantern to draw an extra card. Opponent's going to have 5 cards to play with. If any of them is a creature with power, I'm in trouble. 5 cards in hand. Magus of the Moon. That's not the one I'm particularly afraid of. It does attack for 3. Magus of the Moon and Magus of the Moon. Okay, so they did not leave mana to equip Lava Spur Boots. That buys me a turn. Okay. You're saying there's a chance. Brainstorm is a blue card to go with my force. I can cast Quantum Riddler here. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Leave up a white. If I attack, I could flicker out Chrome Mox and stunt their mana. I can flicker out One Ring so they draw fewer cards, but they also lose less life. I could flicker out the Riddler and just draw another card. I could also leave Phelia back to block, which actually seems reasonable here. I'm just gonna park the bus and pass the turn. Opponent's at 7. Up to 6 cards in hand. The Ancient Tombs only tap for 1, but they don't deal damage. Little give and take there. 6 mana, my opponent showing right now. They are dead to this Quantum Riddler. Like, Riddler attacks for 4, Ring deals 3. Like, we might have something here. They need to have a double spell that kills me. They want to shatter my Phelia's skull. I don't think I care about this, because the Riddler is still going to win the game. Okay, yeah, that's not my fight. This looks good all of a sudden. Okay, Magus the Moon has Lava Spur Boots on. I like that equipping it with Lava Spur Boots changes the frame of the card. What even is this? Special guess from what? Oh, is this a... It looks kind of spacey. Is this from Edge of Eternities? Okay, well, I'll block the bigger one. This could put Quantum Riddler in Dies to Fury range, but I can force a Fury. And they're just dead. Otherwise, okay. Did we do it? Attack you to 3. They need to remove their own ring before their upkeep or gain life somehow, and I can hardcast Force now. Okay, I needed to fade that big One Ring turn where any normal-sized creature kills me, and instead they had 2 small-sized creatures. Nice. They may have won that game if they only played 1 Magus and equipped it rather than play out 2 Maguses. Magi. Magooses. All right, that was a triple Saga game one. Urza Saga, one of the scariest cards for any control deck to try to fight through. Got a lot of sideboard here. I bring in my beef. I bring in my exile target red permanent, my sweepers. That gets the Saga, gets the Chrome Mox, all that kind of crap. Hydroblast, just split card counterspell Vindicate versus most of their deck. Force Negation is a strong maybe. Stifle is okay, but I like less of it. I don't really want to daze this deck on the draw. I want my forces, I want my plows. Consign gets the One Ring, gets Saga chapters. Consign does a lot here. I could even entertain a conversation about Prismatic Ending. I don't think I'm doing that, though. I can get to 3 if they Blood Moon me. Like if I go Island, Plains, Blood Moon, then I have 3 colors to exile Blood Moon. Yeah, that doesn't sound very appealing. Tameo might be kind of slow and underwhelming. And Murktide is a nice way to turn the corner. Trying to keep up with them with removal spells is not that good, but having a bigger body than them, which is what happened in that last game, is pretty good. This is fun. I haven't played against Red Prison in a very long time. Maybe 3 is too many Wrath of the Skies. Just having 2 of them. I can't actually cast Wrath with Blood Moon in play. I only have 1 basic Plains in my deck. And I think Force Negation is very important on the draw. I did something wrong here. There is 61 cards in my main deck. This came from the sideboard. Yeah, this is 7 in, 6 out. Might just be another Tameo. It's a pretty low impact spell all around. Bad against Fury, bad against Chalice of the Void. Dies to all of their attackers. Okay. I did my best, but Tameo still arrived in my opening hand. I have access to both my basics. I have a Force. It's not the good one, but I'll take it. Chrome Mox. I'm not in the Force Negation Chrome Mox business in Legacy. That's a vintage play. Magus of the Moon would be kind of tough here. Actually, I'm going to force this. And I'm going to Wasteland them. Ooh, Wrath of the Skies is gnarly. All right, Wasteland you. Let's see if they do nothing this turn, or if they Ancient Tomb and continue beating me. All right, City of Traders. It's kind of like Ancient Tomb. Chalice of the Void. All right, Tameo missed her mark, but that's another thing that dies to Wrath of the Skies. Yeah, a lot of the time Fable of the Mirror Breaker is the glue holding together hands for these Stompy decks, where if they don't get that treasure on the following turn, or they don't get that loot on the following turn, they needed both of those things, and now their hand kind of stinks. I'm hoping that's the case right now. My best draw here is probably Force of Will. That can pitch the Tameo, and then I untap and Wrath away all their non-land permanents. Swords to Plowshares. That will be nice post-Wrath. Just gotta hope I don't get totally clowned this turn somehow. Their next land will kill their City of Traders, and if they play another Chrome Mox, that's 2 more cards under the Wrath of the Skies. And they have to win with whatever the card in their hand is. I would love if they kill their City of Traders to play Urza Saga right now, and then they lose all their permanents. I'm not greedy. That just sounds pretty good to me. Okay, Fable. The Goblin Shaman will die to the Wrath as well here, but they do get to loot. Okay. I cannot afford to fetch basic island here. I'll get Tundra and basic Plains. And then Wrath for 0. All right, you've got a City of Traders and a loot and a dream. Discarded City of Traders. Wow, played City of Traders. I mean, 1 ring turns this game around. There it is. Okay, 18 life. That's a lot. And I'm drawing land still. I'll play out my Tameo. I can fetch Meticulous Archive. I could plow their next threat. But they have fully undone everything I did because the 1 ring exists as a card. Chrome Mox. Exile to Pyrogoyf. Broadside Bombardiers. Would they throw stuff at me? And I don't want to give them the choice. I'm going to exile Broadsides, which sucks leaving Reflection in play. Oh, wow. Yeah, they're just like, bet on the 1 ring. Not giving you anything. Taking this Tameo with me. I'll get Meticulous Archive and hope that it shows me a useful card. Brainstorm. Gotta trust it. Brainstorm. Wasteland Stifle Phelia. Okay, these cards are not bad. I could stifle a ring tap, and then they don't get to draw 3 cards for 1 turn. All right. I'm gonna Make Phelia plus Stifle the plan here. I wish I could read this card to know when the counter goes on. I'm pretty sure it's on resolution. Yeah, so if they tap the ring, they don't draw 3 cards, but they also don't add a counter. I think I do need this turn to try to spike a big one. Stifle this activation, and then develop Phelia, hope to draw Quantum Riddler. They even attacked. That's great. That gives me some free money on the backswing. I'll get Island. Cast Phelia. Come on, Quantum Riddler off the top. Let's go. Ponder. That could be anything, even a Quantum Riddler. Ooh. Okay. We're playing. All right. I'm going to go Ponder, Triumph, Murktide. No shuffle. Attack, flicker out your Chrome Mox, which will either cost you the card in your hand or a mana for the rest of the game. Murktide is a big O, and I'm flipping another big O off the top. There is a Mystic Sanctuary in my deck, so I'll leave Wrath of the Skies in the graveyard. Just had to pick one spell to leave behind. Okay, they exiled Fury. That's bold. Fury's got to be one of your best cards here. Like, pitch one of these 4 cards you're about to draw. Yeah, 4 to Murktide, copy it, another 4 to Murktide, blast me. I don't know if the mana was worth it there. All right, well, if you're going to draw Gone, it might be worth it. That's fine. I have the Re-Murktide and Triumph coming. There's a Saga, kill City of Traders. Let's go. And Murktide's going to come back as 4/4, unfortunately. But it is at least still in play. I would like to miracle this. Cast Triumph. Cast Murktide. Attack and flicker out the Chrome Mox again. Keep beating up those resources. Exiled Simian Spirit Guide. Yeah, that's what that's for. The active reflection is pretty scary. There are things that could happen here that are good enough, but this ring on 4, I'm hoping my big hefty beef carries the day, if you know what I'm saying. All right, chaining 1 rings together is mostly fine, I think. I'm drawing Ponder this turn. Okay, they're not dead, but we play on. Ponder. Wasteland, Quantum Riddler, Murktide Regent. Insane. Okay. Quantum Riddler. I'll take it. Warp it. This draws the other 2 cards from the Ponder. Attack with Phelia. Flicker out Riddler. They could trade with Phelia if they want, though I don't think they're winning the game if they don't have Reflection. They have protection, so they can just let this through without losing life. Oh, I fucked up. I should have Wastelanded before combat. Now I'm only going to draw 1 card instead of 2. Or no, it comes back in the end step. We're fine. We're fine. I did it fine. Right, Wasteland, take out this Saga, continue the denial. Now I draw 2 cards. Phelia gets bigger. Hell yeah. Opponent's at 7. Another Chrome Mox from a 6-card hand. We'll have 5 cards left to play with here. Exiled Blood Moon. Saga from hand, 4 mana. And Pyrogoyf is pretty big here. If they have Pyrogoyf plus Spirit Guide, they still just win. Fury pitching Fable. Okay, this one is not as good as Pyrogoyf. This doesn't just smoke me for 15 or whatever. It does kill some of my creatures and present a 6/6. A 4 to Murktide. Copy. Probably going to kill Phelia with the other one here. If they have a Broadside Bombardiers still, that could get me. Though I do still have some blockers. I don't think I'm quite dead to Broadsides. I would know to block ahead of time. They can't have a post-combat Broadside and fling. Not how that card works. Okay, hitting Triumph. And Shatter Skull for 1. Kills the Triumph, puts it back in my 7 cards somewhere. Trigger. This leaves them dead on board, though. So I am not going to block the Fury. I'll go to 6 and just attack back for 7, and they die. If the last 2 cards in hand are... Or no, there's 1 card in hand. Yeah, I don't think there's any 1 card that does it. Okay, wow. Yeah, just grinding out 2 resolved 1 rings as a blue deck. That is a reason to have a powerful, proactive plan. That was very stressful, and I feel good to come away with it. On to the next round. We're 1-0. This year, September 18th through 20th, I'll be attending my 4th consecutive Commander Sealed event in Rochester, New York. This event is really awesome, incredible community, and the main event is one of the most brain-busting, limited sealed deck environments you could imagine, and the gameplay is incredible as well. There's a whole weekend full of events, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, to do stuff, and most importantly, the entire event is there to benefit charity. I am personally chipping in my part to raise money for Trans Lifeline. Whether you're able to attend the main event or not, chipping in a few bucks to my donation link helps me out, helps the event out, keeps this thing crushing its mission year after year. I'll see you there if you can make it, and if you can't, thanks for the support. This donation link is in the video description. I'm on the play in round 2. I am hoisted by the tech lands in the deck. Got a mulligan this one. I'm in for this. I'm going to keep, and I think I'll bottom Consign to Memory. There are matchups where Consign is way better than Stifle, but Stifle is fine in a lot of places where Consign to Memory doesn't really help. So it's Consign to the bottom for me. I'm going to Tundra pass here. We are in an age of Legacy where Tundra is a Stifle thing, but I do want to Stifle this turn if I get a chance. And I don't want to have to fetch to do it because I have this Brainstorm that I want to use with the fetch land. Plateau. A third Stifle. That's probably more of those than I really want. Plateau is probably an energy deck. I'm pretty excited that they didn't have a play on turn 2, or turn 1. Lazotep Quarry. Hexing Squelcher. Oh, that card can't be countered. Gonna need a removal spell. Brainstorm. Found a removal spell. I think I can put back at least 2 of these Stifles. And fetch for Meticulous Archive. Daze into the graveyard. I want some beef. I want to be bigger than my opponent, have some stuff that is stronger than their stuff. Tamiyo's quite good. All right, Tundra, Daze, Tamiyo, no shuffle, Flooded Strand, Tamiyo. Okay, this does line up pretty well against Ocelot Pride. Sand Scout. Okay, they get to go nuts with this, so I'm gonna plow the Hexing Squelcher and force this pitching Consign. I would like to pay 2 life. I would like to force pitching Consign. And I'd prefer if my Tamiyo didn't die right now, because I don't have much else going on. Okay, they did successfully play around Stifle with this Wasteland, but I've done what I want to do here. Wasteland doesn't cast Plow. That's not a Caracas. I don't think they main deck Dismember. Okay, wasting me. Yeah, this Sand Scout would have been devastating. Multiple Stifles now. Tamiyo and pass. Opponent's got 6 cards in their hand. I got some work to do here. Oh, they found a Caracas. I think if they had that, it would have happened last turn, though. Bad beats. And I'm not going to Stifle a Caracas activation. I might on a Phelia if it's about to turn the corner in a big way, but it's not going to happen on a Tamiyo. A Johnny, Nakadal Pariah. I do want to Stifle the cat token. That's more than I want to deal with. Now they have to come up with a different cat to kill it. They passed into my turn on the Caracas. We're playing chicken around Brainstorm here. Swords to Plowshares. Okay, well, I'm not going to fight over that. I am going to draw a card. Phelia, okay. If I can get through the Caracas, if I find one on my Wastelands, Phelia starts to become pretty good. Caracas can bounce their own Ajani. Oh, I'm in a very temporary solution with that Stifle. Amped Raptor. I think I want to Stifle this ability. It's gonna be something. Fetch, and what do you got? Another Ajani, and just cook my life. Just assume it's always the worst case scenario. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I do have 1 Wrath of the Skies in my main deck, which is probably already too far behind. Yep, dead. Okay. That was brutal. Against this deck, you really have to turn the corner and put something bigger than them into play. And this deck kind of plays like Red Stompy in a way, in that they're gonna apply pressure and squeeze your options every turn of the game. But I'm actually way more scared of this deck, because they do it in a way that's not as clunky. Okay, Consign, Stifle. These cards are worse. They do help me scam out a Riddler. I'm not completely on 0 of these. Sand Scout's pretty scary. Hydroblast has some hits in the deck. Amped Raptor, Hexing Squelcher, Goblin Bombardment. Celestial Purge would function the same way as Hydroblast in a lot of cases. The backside of a Johnny. Daze on the play. Like, if I really turn the corner and make something happen here, Daze is good. Or I could settle into being blue-white control. I think I do want Hydroblast. I don't know that I want Celestial Purge as well. All right, I'm going to go 2 Dazes and a Stifle out. Okay, more and better removal, more and better threats. When you board out 6 cards that you drew in game 1, that probably helps explain why you lost. All right, I'll keep, and I'm gonna basic planes go. Yeah, the most likely sequence here is they play a 1-drop, and then I prismatic ending that 1-drop and cast Ponder on my next turn. Compare that to the possibility of playing Ponder now, they wasteland me. Yeah, I think I have the curve set up correctly that I don't need to play into Wasteland if I don't want to. Arid Mesa, Ocelot Pride, Prismatic Ending. I drew Force of Will. Hopefully that buys me a turn to play. Another land. I mean, any land is good enough here. Brainstorm, Plow, Wasteland, no shuffle. Ooh, somebody was all in. Wasteland, and pass the turn. Now I have Phelia Riddler with Force backup. Oh, they drew a land. Unlucky. All right, I do still have the Force backup, but now I might actually need it. Okay, draw Brainstorm for turn. Warp Riddler. Basic Mountain. So this is probably Pyroblast. I guess Lightning Bolt's in the range. Yeah, Pyroblast makes sense because the Phelia didn't get answered. And we're in, we're cooking. I got a big booty. And my next land is lined up now. I have Tameo Brainstorm, and I can plow their next play. I think I would rather just deal damage. I could flicker Tameo out. All right, yeah, I'm going to play Tameo, and I'm going to attack and flicker out Tameo, because I want to kill my opponent here. Okay. Pretty strong hand with 1 land, but it did get stuck there. I was able to punish. I think I like Force of Will on the draw more than Daze. If they get that Ocelot Pride going, that's a concern, and this gives me 10 answers to a turn 1 Ocelot Pride. Okay, let's go. No white cards. Boy, do I hate that. I am gonna mulligan. Ugh, can't cast my spells. I could force their 1-drop, then wasteland them. How many lands are actually in this deck? 20 lands. 4 of them are wasteland. One of them's Mystic Sanctuary. Oh, Mystic Sanctuary is not a 0. This could be like Force Pitching Brainstorm, Force Pitching Brainstorm, find the blue source, Quantum Riddler, game on. I hate this so much. Deck, why can't I just have a good hand? Why make me work this hard? Okay, I'm gonna mulligan. I'm a Quantum Riddler deck. Let's have some faith. All right, the faith was not rewarded. I will keep this, though. I'm not going any lower. Triumph and Mystic Sanctuary gone. Hopefully they go all in on a non-basic land again. Force Ocelot Pride, waste your plateau. Game goes stupid mode. Guide of Souls. I'll fight over it. Fight over basically anything. Well, there's Quantum Riddler. That is why I was willing to mold a 5. Okay, what's the follow-up? Currently nothing. I like that. Swords to Plowshares, let's go. This is how it happens, team. And step fetch for a Surveil. Put Ocelot Pride into the graveyard. Okay, so they either desperately need a land, or they are trying to go bigger than Ocelot Pride. That's a really interesting card to dump. It would make sense if they just really need their second land here. Okay, there is a second land. Were they desperate and hurting for that and just found it, or were they trying to just do better in general? All right, here's a Johnny. I'm going to plow a Johnny in the end step off of Plains. Oh, I drew Island straight up. All right, Quantum Riddler. Undo one of my 2 mulligans, please. Another Riddler. We'll see if I can ever get into 1 card again. Caracas. Thalia. The lands are the worst draws here. I'm going to waste the Caracas. That card is a problem for me. And I'm still holding out hope that this Quantum Riddler could draw 2 cards one day. But opponent has hit all their land drops, so that makes me think on that Surveil they were not looking for a land. Okay, Phelia has arrived. That's a gamer. 2 wastelands. All right, I'm going to let this through and hope they can't answer Phelia, I guess. And I didn't have Phelia last turn, so they know I just drew this. Okay, we go to my turn. Play a land. Warp Riddler. A Pyroblast would be kind of tough. All right, well, I'll just delete a cat then. Okay, we're just damage racing then. And unfortunately, I drew a tap land, which means slamming this Quantum Riddler next turn isn't even on the table. I'd have to draw another land to do that, and I don't want to do that. They haven't missed a land drop, and they haven't played a creature in a while, So their hand could be lands and reactive spells, or it could just be a bunch of reactive spells. Okay, we're in the Wasteland, the Marsh Flats phase of the game. I'll grab a Tundra, and they can waste that now. They made the right call not wasting the Flooded Strand. Okay, their hand is a million Wastelands. I'll float a white. I do have one more island in the deck, and the race is on. All right, removal spell. Oh my goodness. It's a miracle. I would like to cast this for its miracle cost. Thanks for asking. St. Cath in the business. Meticulous Archive. Might as well play it. Flooded Strand. I don't actually want that. Phelia attack. Flicker out Triumph. If I get Containment Priest here, I deserve to lose, but growing the Phelia actually matters a lot. That lets it beat Thalia if my opponent has a removal for Cath. Okay, yeah, this is like 6 or 7 land drops in a row. That's a lot of land drops. And we're in business. Corner turned. Okay, so here I probably flicker out Voice of Victory and just mush with the squad. What does that look like? I gain 5, I take 5 coming back, and I attack for the most. No, I actually want to flicker out Thalia, because if they do decide to block, I care a lot more about Voice of Victory than I do about Thalia. Okay, opponent's down to 7. Tamio's in. Fetched for a Plains. Thalia comes back. Okay, here we go. Moment of truth. Wow, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 lands. That's a lot of those. Okay, I've drawn another land as well. I'm going to make the same attack I did last turn. Also flickering out Thalia. Gotta block this time. Voice of Victory's gone. Counterspells are back on. I'm at 15 life. Crack a clue. Oh, boo. I wish I had cracked that on my opponent's turn. Okay. Thalia comes back. You're at 3, I'm at 15. Wow, Triumph of St. Catherine, hard carrying these last 2 consecutive rounds. Is she back? Is she back in the metagame? She was a big deal when she was printed, and then a secondary big deal when she came to Magic Online, which was way after she was printed. It was like she was printed a second time, and then largely forgotten, but has been a house in these last 2 rounds. We're 2-0. On to the next one. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in round 3 versus none other than Channel Homie Eco Bronin. I'm going to keep. And I will develop a Tamio to start the game. I'm going to get Basic Island. I don't want to get punked out here when I can cast my entire hand off Basic Island. A Tundra. Is it the old mirror match? Let's find out. Wasteland you, and then play a backup Tamio. I know that, Andreas, I'm recording this the day after we recorded our last basement battle, where he said he really likes Bant Beanstalk in this metagame. Could be doing that. And we all know you don't have to twist my arm to play Bant Beanstalk. But I've got a clue in the bank. Ponder. I did find another Ponder and a Brainstorm. I could flip Tamio now and lose this Brainstorm. I think that's fine. All right, I hope this fetch land doesn't get stifled, but also, like, I get to keep the Brainstorm if it does. I don't know, kind of a weird spot for that one. Ponder. Stifle, Brainstorm, Flooded Strand. I will keep these cards and get to work plussing this Tamio. See what happens over there. If he resolves a Beanstalk this turn, that's actually a really difficult permanent for me to keep up with, even with a Tamio. Meticulous Archive. Dumped a Tamio. Recognize that card's not helpful. Alright, this does appear to be the Bant Beanstalk deck. Tough beats for me, potentially. Brainstorm. A lot of bad cards here. I'll put that Mystic Sanctuary and Basic Plains. Plus Tamio. I guess I'll just try to do the old Tamio business. I do have 3 interactive spells for a Leyline Binding. if that's the type of removal he has. And I think I'm just going to fetch in the upkeep. I don't want these cards, but I also don't want to tap out of these stifles. I think the only way I'm going to outmuscle a Beanstalk is with a Tameo emblem. I'm just going to chase it. Okay, a fetch in response to my fetch. I could have fetched or stifled that fetch, but I think that's bait. Okay, Leyline Binding. I could consign the Beanstalk trigger. Oh no, because the Leyline Binding trigger's not on the thing yet. He said in the chat he clicked the wrong land. Unlucky. I am gonna stifle this. I'll try to go 1-for-1. Or, yeah, I'll just try to go 1-for-1. Force of Will. I'll consign the Leyline Binding before he gets to draw another card. Oh, come on, man. All right. So I guess if I had just not cracked my fetch land at all, but this is exactly the situation I was concerned about existing. All right. Well, that sucks. Now I have nothing and he's going nuts. I didn't have access to the stifle on the turn that he fetched his first land, that polluted delta. That just wasn't available to me. All right, a little flood out here. Oh, we'll continue to flood out. That's fine. Decking him is my actual plan here, which might sound crazy, but double Beanstalk is a big commitment. And at some point, your cards are going to draw cards, whether you like it or not. E.g., Quantum Riddler. And with 37 cards in your deck, you're happy for an Ancestral Recall. We're not at the point yet where this is great. There's a Tameo. I'll get Meticulous Archive. Phelia. I mean, basically no universe this works. But it is one of my good cards. I'll hold on to it. If Tameo's coming in, there's a Riddler in Warp. Brainstorm flips the Tameo. My plan was already to deck him, so I'm not going to fight over this. Tameo up to 4. In real life, like at Eternal Weekend, it would be totally reasonable to concede this game over the shared clock. But with a chess clock, I might as well play to my outs. Another Phelia. Make my land drop. Cracking a clue. 32 cards in the deck. 32 life, basically. 31 life after the draw step. Okay, here's Riddler. That draws 2 cards. He's used 2 forces already, but there's still going to be... and the card, when it enters, draws 3 cards. He's played 2 forces already, but there's still going to be plows and consigns in this deck. I would love to just make him go to discard and lose 2 cards, but I also do need to play Phelia here. Okay, ended up going to clean up anyway. Discarded a Beanstalk. Upkeep Swords to Plowshares, that is. And look at that patience. He could have done that in the end step, but decided to not get cooked by double Phelia. And guess what? I had double Phelia, so that was the right play. Okay, I think I'm going to put Force of Will in my hand right now with Quantum Riddler on top. And we can try to have a showdown next turn. And if he's super locked in, he might just minus Tameo here and put Force of Will in hand. Like, you're never losing the game. You don't need to draw half your deck here. Okay, blessing up to 8. Okay, here's Phelia. She resolves. Upkeep. Leyline Binding. I'm going to force the Leyline Binding. Spending the card to do it, because I think that having my mana up so I can Quantum Riddler then do more things is a reasonable place to want to be here. All right, Hardcast, Force of Negation. Beanstalks, draw 2. Phelia's eaten. I draw my Riddler. I am going to warp it. I want my mana. I need to do multiple things this turn. Another Force of Will. It's basically all of those. Pass the turn. You've got a Phelia as well. All right. I'm not going to erase that. Okay, yeah. I mean, Beanstalk double force. Pretty good. I would have kept that hand too. Prismatic Ending can exile Beanstalks, which seems like a weird thing to fight over, but I like it. This also exiles Phelia and Tameo. Those are all important cards. Wrath of the Skies can clean up Beanstalks, but I don't actually like that as a plan. It's probably too many consigns. Days, I am on the play, and getting under him and countering the first Beanstalk matters a lot. Do I want Triumphs for the mid-game? And these are smaller than Quantum Riddler and Murktide. which are my opponent's threats. I could bring in Force of Negation. That's just another way to beat up on Beanstalk, and that card is the entire game pretty much. He's got enough creatures that I want my plows in, which is really annoying versus a control deck. I want my stifles, I want my wastelands. Yeah, I think cheese mode is how I'm going to win these games. Alright, I will go -1 plow and try to get cheesy. This hand is not going to be good enough. I'm going to mulligan. Okay, here is what I signed up for. Keep, bottom. It's probably plow. And if he goes turn 1 Tameo, I'm not going to love it. And this deck might have some number of wasteland in it. I hope that doesn't happen right now. Cool. I'm going to hide my wasteland now. This makes my brainstorm worse, but hopefully this wasteland is a brutal table turn when it happens. He's playing around Stifle right now. I could just brainstorm in the end step. I'll play the Phelia. Phelia. Force pitching brainstorm. I'm going to force back pitching Daze. Might get pyroblasted here. Yep, that's fine. It's a 3 for 3. And might as well fetch while I'm not going to stifle you. Kept a card on top. Ponder, okay. I like that one. Ponder. Stifle and brainstorm, okay. I'm going to take the stifle, and I'm going to waste the meticulous archive. And I'm going to hope to clip a fetch land here and steal a game. He's playing around it, or at least making it inconvenient for me. Brainstorm. A lot of white cards. Though Phelia is a decent white card if you have to draw one. I've missed a land. Can you miss a land too? Can we keep this even? Nope. Alright, just slam the Beanstalk. GG. That's not Beanstalk mana. It's Phelia mana. Ooh, main phasing it. Alright, both of the top cards in my deck answer Phelia. I'm actually going to brainstorm into the plow because Prismatic Ending answers more things that his deck does. And I just stacked a Murktide on top of the Phelia because I have to work through all these cards. I'm brainstorm locked at this point, and Murktide is going to do more than Phelia is. Alright, he still likes playing around Daze. I'll give it to him. Prismatic Ending. Okay, what's going on over there? A Ponder. It also just started storming like crazy in my real life. Not this game. We're not playing against Storm, but there is a wicked thunderstorm going on outside. I hope my power holds out. Ponder didn't shuffle. Riddler, yep, off you go. Man, this deck's so good. Every card's an engine. If it's not Beanstalk, it's Phelia. If it's not Phelia, it's Riddler. I really like this deck. And fetching now. Avoiding the Stifle. That is in my hand. Okay, now I'm kind of into Phelia again, because Phelia plus Stifle can permanently delete one of his permanents. And now that I'm through the Brainstorm lock, I had to go through it the hard way. I thought I'd get one turn to deploy one of these threats. That didn't happen. He still has not fetched a green source, though. And had the option 3 different times. There's a green source. Might have just had Savannah in hand all along. Okay, Murktide. Leaving up blue, blue, white, white. All right, well, here's Phelia. Leyline Binding immediately to play around Stifle. Notice how, when you play against a strong player, they do the right thing every time. Like, every fetch land that he's fetched, like, he's alternating between dealing with Phelia in my main phase or my upkeep and dealing it with it immediately in my end step based on what he's worried about. And that is super smart. All right, let's see if my bigger Murktide can carry or if you're holding another white removal spell after all that. Here comes Riddler from Warp, draws 2 cards. Starting to turn the corner. There's a Riddler from me as well. I'm going to brainstorm. St. Cath is nice. I'm going to put back Riddler and Cath in that order. And I'm just going to hold my horses here. I'm not winning this fight. And this is what I was worried about boarding Cath in. My opponent just has 2 creatures that are bigger than her. Hard cast Quantum Riddler. Yep. If he can get a card out of his hand here, he draws 3. Okay, fetching. These Stifles are not for fetches anymore. They're for Leyline Bindings. Oh, that's fucked up. Okay, yep. This Brainstorm draws 5. And there's still a draw trigger on the stack. 5 cards in hand. Endless power and toughness in play. Tameo. And This game is completely unwinnable. GG's. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in round 4. I'll keep my hand. Nice little Tamiyo with the ability to protect it. And I can play on basic island, so I will. Wow, force pitching Ponder. Days, baby. Okay, we are playing against someone who is not otherwise prepared to play against a Tamiyo. That's not an action you take when your hand has Swords to Plowshares in it. Okay, they just passed for the turn. I'll replay my island and attack again. Drawing another Riddler is okay, because now I can force without feeling bad about losing Riddler. Let's see what this deck is up to. Undercity Sewer, Force, and Ponder are cards this deck has. There's a lot of decks that have those cards in them. My opponent also just Stifle checked me incidentally, though they know they don't have to play around Stifle. A second Underground Sea. This could be Orcish Bowmaster being represented now. I've got that Phelia mana. Force of Will still in the mix. Opponent could be a Daze deck. On that first showdown, they did not have mana up, or they didn't have an island available to Daze with. I think I do force this. If this is a Tempo Bowmaster style matchup, then there might not be many better targets for force, and everything I want to do in the next few turns is draw cards. Alright, I sack a creature and exile my graveyard. Okay. Tamiyo's dead. Phelia is the creature I want here. But we're now pretty sure this is a Daze deck. If they have a Fatal Push, they just drew it because of that Tamiyo showdown. Bummer. Alright, well, there goes that. I'll get to Riddler and draw 2 cards. A Tundra, Warp Riddler draws 2. Reload me. And a fresh Phelia. There's the land back. Flow State, which is online. That's like my Riddler. Keeping things fair and square on the card front. Alright, I'm going to run out this Mystic Sanctuary. I don't believe in that as a long-term plan to hold on to it rather than develop mana here. Rainstorm. I'm still going for Phelia right now. There's nothing to flicker, but making them do stuff and interact with my stuff when I have these 2 clues in the bank and Riddler and Warp. I got a lot of future consideration stuff here. I'm going to attack and flicker out nothing. Sealed, attack for 2. A fetching. I can plow a Bowmaster. We can have that fight. Okay. I could also just force this Bowmaster. I lose Phelia to the Orc army. I could plow and stifle. That's crazy. I could also draw a card, see what happens. Yeah, I'm going to draw a card first. It's another land. Okay. I don't care a lot about Phelia right now. Phelia gets poked. Single block. Sure. Swords to Plowshares. And would I stifle anything this turn? Maybe. I would stifle a Wasteland, I guess. Yeah, I'm not going to stifle the fetch. And I can leave the clue up. Ooh. Do I want to stifle this Flow State going to the top of the deck? I don't think I do. A Flow State. I'm going to crack my clue in response. Just fewer looks at Bowmaster, which there are 2 left in the deck if they play the full set. Tamiyo's in. A fetch land. This could be Meticulous Archive. I think I'd rather just play my island, though. If they force this Riddler, I force back, then Riddler comes in and draws 2. Otherwise, I'm happy to just have a giant creature that drew a card. And force still in my hand. Ponder. Ponder shuffled. Good news. Tamiyo can flip this turn. Opponent could attack, make a clue. I could stifle the flip trigger and then block and eat Tamiyo if my opponent tries to make that move. That does open me up to Daze. Yeah, I think I would actually let my opponent flip Tamiyo here. I have a 4/6 pushing back at the Planeswalker. And I don't want to get into a spot where I turn on days that I didn't have to, and then I have to like force something pitching my Murktide that I didn't want to. Okay, opponent has made the move. I'm obviously blocking. I'm not gonna be a silly goose about Kaito here. Okay, playing out Bowmaster is interesting. Why do we do that? Okay. Uh, this just got weird. I'm gonna stifle their fetch land. Try to kill Tamio. All right. Well, this is exactly the thing I said I didn't want to fall for, and here I have fallen for it. All right. I took the bait. Here we go. Playing out the Bowmaster was so strange. Like, that's why I pushed a little harder there than I wanted to. All right. The Orc Army is going to trigger in my draw step because I get to draw an extra card, but I'll take it. Opponent did just pick up Mystic Sanctuary with that Daze. That's even more fucked up. Okay. I'm going to ponder and draw 2 cards here. Lean into the Bowmaster. I got removal in my deck. There's some of it. Okay. Draw, Plow, and Murktide. I take some beats. Plow this. Murktide. I'm just going all the way in. I know my deck has Daze and there's a Mystic Sanctuary in play, but I want to kill my opponent. And I'll fetch Surveil in this end step probably. Yeah, Sanctuary targets Strategic Betrayal. They could crack the clue to get it right away. I would sack Murktide here. Yeah, the Riddler is drawing so many cards. This does let them attack for 4, but the cards are worth it. I'm at 8. Strategic Betrayal, pretty cool card. I mean, it's mostly just an edict, but it has text in other matchups where the graveyard matters more. Archive. Scalding Tarn to the graveyard. All right, Riddler, give me something useful. Ponder and Stifle. Play my land, play Ponder, draw 2 cards. We're doing it. We're going off. Riddler going crazy. Stifle, Swords to Plowshares. I'll take them. Plow this thing right now. I'm not winning the damage race. Let's just take the damage off the board. And Riddler going for it. And my opponent just plays like a Murktide Regent. I am behind and dead on the backswing. Flow state happens. Misty Rainforest. I will stifle this if they use it. Okay, there's Tamio. Stifle just probably doesn't have a lot of targets left. And drawing 2 cards would be nice. I'm not going to stifle my own fetch, though, to get my hand lower. I have more faith than that. They ponder. Wrath of the Skies, Force of Will. Interesting. Yeah, I'll take Force of Will here. Attack into the Tamio. I can stifle a Kaito. They pass the turn. If I didn't have an answer to Kaito, I would not have made that attack. A Tamio trigger. No blocks. Oh no, don't tap mana. Stifle the Kaito. And picking up the Tamio is part of the cost. I really hope they have Force of Will here, actually. I can stifle it again. Okay, their hand is Tamio and Kaito. Ponder happens. Okay, I hope they fetch to play Tamio here, and I can stifle the fetch. Shuffled the Ponder. Cool. Yeah, I wanted to get down to 1 card, but I didn't want to spend Force of Will to do it. Wasteland. I don't care about that. Nobody does. A Riddler. Drawing these cards that I knew were there. I'll play my own Wasteland. Attack with Riddler. And I actually am going to waste Mystic Sanctuary. Knowing that they have Kaito in their hand, if they try to hard cast it, I don't want them double spelling. I don't want them dazing me just for value, even if the daze doesn't work. Them picking up the Edict again is pretty strong here. All right, here's the hard cast Kaito. They're forcing me back. So they're going to have to stun Riddler, and I'm going to draw another 2 cards. I can Wrath of the Skies to kill Tamio and the Clue if they play Tamio. All right, didn't do it. All right, I draw 2 cards here. Another Riddler. Okay, I can do the trick that we just saw Eco Baronin do last game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cast Riddler. I just want this body in play. Riddler enters, Brainstorm, draw 5 in response. Even Bertoncini would blush at that. Okay, more blockers, more Tamios. Wrath of the Skies doesn't matter. And I'm not casting Ponder right now. I'm probably not casting Consign to Memory. What does Consign even do? All All right, yeah, I'm off it. All right, and then I draw another card anyway. Cool. I get it all. I'll play Tameo. I'm just trying not to get Kaito blitzed out here. And I guess if I'm not doing anything with all this mana anyway, I'll cast the Ponder while Bowmaster's not in front of me. Fatal pushing Tameo. Okay. Daze, Wasteland, Wrath. I'll shuffle that away. So they pitched the Tameo to the forest last turn. Hey, I thought their last card was Tameo. I lost track of that. Okay, Kaito has 3 power. If it stuns a Riddler, Kaito dies. They do have another draw with Clue and then 3 mana to play with. Surveilling 2 right now. They must have a plan for Quantum Riddler then. They put Underground Sea and Orcish Bowmaster into the graveyard. Drew a card, 2 random cards in hand, 1 random card in hand. Fetch down to 2. I was just going to say Hardcast Snuff Out would actually be kind of good. Okay, they found something that plays on, and me shuffling that Daze away on turn 12 was actually meaningful. Pretty sweet. Okay. Riddler is unstunned, and I found another Riddler. Okay. Tameo is better as a blocker than it is as a planeswalker. Opponent is Hellbent. Play Tameo. Play Riddler. And I can still flash in Phelia if I must. Wasteland. Would I rather play around Daze or reduce my opponent's options? I think I'd like to reduce their options. Because they needed every mana last turn. Cool. Big bodies. Got it done. That's basically what Eco Baronin did to me last round, but I'm a better big deck than this tempo deck, where he's a better big deck than my tempo deck. A Celestial Purge, Hansers, Kaito, and various Goif and Bowmaster things. I don't actually like Wrath of the Skies versus decks like this. It just costs so much to actually sweep anything. I'm here for Team Triumph. Prismatic Ending is more answers to Tameo and Bowmaster. The consigns are not good here. Force of Will kind of mid. Daze kind of mid. I want a smattering of options though. As the control deck in the matchup and the Quantum Riddler deck, I don't want to go super low on forces. Okay, bunch of white cards in, bunch of blue cards out. Let's go. I will keep my hand. I've got stable mana and a Swords of Plowshares. I got a white card. Turn 1 Scalding Tarn, and they appear to have a spell. Oh, wow. I was just playing around Stifle. It's cool being a deck with Wasteland and Stifle. I have neither in my hand. Oh, now I have one of them. Okay, I'll play the Tundra then. I could Stifle a Wasteland if I have to. If they have Wasteland plus Daze. Okay, I guess. Alright, the card they're likely representing here is Bowmaster. I'm just going to be ultra patient. If they play Bowmaster here, I'll brainstorm in response. If they don't, I'll just keep hitting land drops as they don't spend their mana. Ponder's fine. I could have brainstormed there, but my hand is fine anyway. Did not shuffle Ponder, and did not play a land. Okay. Their hand is so good that they don't mind missing a land drop. I'm going to put back Archive, and it's probably just one of the fetch lands. So access to basic planes. I could access Island now, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to Meticulous Archive right now. I'm going to want these plows eventually. Like, there's no universe where I don't. I also don't have to fetch. Yeah, I think that might be the play. Just don't fetch. Okay, I can access basic planes and Meticulous Archive. We're still just holding here. End step fetch. Get the Archive. I don't want a Tundra. I have lands. And yet another land. A Mystic Sanctuary is operational here for the first time in the tournament. And they are just in the Bowmaster lock here. They tapped and untapped a land. So this is 3 turns in a row where they haven't really spent mana or done anything. Okay, they've finally done something. I'm going to plow this, and I am prepared to stifle the flip trigger if they have Brainstorm. Okay, it's handled. Draw for turn. Another land. Now I'm at the point where I could just stifle in my Quantum Riddler and have it. We've seen Snuff Out and that Crazy Edict, though. I'm made of Quantum Riddlers here, though. I can warp one of them. And then still have my tricks with the other one if I want them. Force pitching Daze. Yeah, Daze is not going to help you very much here. You got it. I'll pass the turn. I'll take a 2 for 1. I have way more resources than my opponent, but they have a bigger hand than me. And if I 2-for-1 enough times, I will have as many cards in hand as them, but more lands. This is online. Unfortunate. All right. Happens. That might have been part of their motivation to force the Riddler as well. Just get an instant in the graveyard. Tapped Mystic Sanctuary. Yeah, I'll just go to my turn. Another land. I could play the second Riddler. I'm not going to. I'm going to brainstorm while Bowmaster's not a thing. Murktide Regent Wasteland. I like those cards. I'm going to put away Flooded Strand and one of the forces. Though Force Pitching Force. I guess Force can pitch Stifle. That's fine. All right. Force Pitching Force off the table. Wasteland. Take out. I am going to take out a Black Source. And I'm going to fetch Island with Scalding Tarn. This leaves all my options open. I have access to Mystic Sanctuary or either of my basics. I'm going to leave Swords to Plowshares in my graveyard, though. Let Murktide be a little smaller. Mystic Sanctuary makes it the 6/6 it could have been anyway, if I need to increase the clock. And if I don't need to increase the clock, then I'll be happy to have access to Mystic Sanctuary. Wasteland. Snuff Out. Snuff Out's fine. I'm jockeying around this Quantum Riddler. That's what we're doing. Draw a random card. Mystic Sanctuary. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to Warp Riddler. I know I could just cast it and protect it, but getting paid on the way in and on the warp is more cards over a longer game, which is what we're playing right now. I'll take you off black, no Snuff Out, and pass the turn. It's kind of like long games with Uro. Quantum Riddler is not dissimilar to Uro. Okay, plow the Tameo. Draw for turn. It's a Brainstorm. Now I can Mystic Sanctuary, target plow, but I should hold priority because I need more mana than this. I'll get basic Island. All right, we can put plow on top. And I'll cast Quantum Riddler, which draws plow, which covers a lot of the cards that my opponent could have that I could care about. Okay, I've gotten the full 3-for-1 out of the Quantum Riddler. Even if it dies now, it did a lot. All right, I am going to try to Stifle here. They're in a spot where they could daze me, but the Stifle isn't just part of like having Wastelanded them twice this game. It also turns on Snuff Out, which is one of their outs to this Quantum Riddler, because it gives them a swamp. And now I'm cooking. Handful of reaction. I'm ready. They're dead in 3 hits. 2 if they fetch. Ponder is going to have to be fine. How many Stifles are still in my deck? 3. I'll Brainstorm in response here. If I hit, it's really good. Ooh, I did hit, and there's a Triumph underneath. I'll put Purge and Triumph on top, just like that, and continue the relentless beating here. That's 4 of their lands that I have put involuntarily into their graveyard, against their wishes. And Triumph doesn't change the clock, but it does insulate me versus a removal spell. And they're dead. Okay, sweet. Yeah, just being a blue-white control mid-range deck that can push these tempo decks back down into their hole, while being a tempo deck that can get up under decks like the Red Prison deck we played in round 1. That's the mode of this deck. And then our round versus Eco Baronin, where we were unsuccessful in tempoing him out, and he's a much better late game deck. We're seeing all the modes of this deck kick in. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is sponsored by Ultimate Guard. I travel all over the world playing Magic with very expensive cards. I trust Ultimate Guard products to protect the tools of my trade wherever I go. Whether you like magic art, licensed art from other worlds, entirely original art, or the simplicity of plain colors, their products have incredible range to match anyone's style. Protect your cards how I do, stay up to date with all the new releases at ultimateguard.com, and stop by the Ultimate Guard section of your local game store. I'm on the play in round 5. I'll keep my hand. We have officially reached the point where I've made enough video that it's as many rounds as a league. And now we're in the bonus rounds. Yeah, this is just Scalding Tarn pass from me. I have not yet queued into any deck where Consigned to Memory is actually a good card, which is tough because that's one of the things I like about this deck is that we're in a meta where Consigned to Memory is a pretty okay card. I'm going to fetch in the end step from my archive and hope this is not a Stifle Mirror. Archive, Phelia. I'm going to bin that, which should be suspicious to my opponent because it's the best card in my deck. They found Force of Will. That can tee up the Phelia Riddler execution here, which would be great. And I'm looking for more information here myself. Like, are we going to see a Wasteland Volcanic Island? Is this Show and Tell? Is this Doomsday? Is it the Mirror? We don't know anything yet. All we know is Scalding Tarn. This could be Sewer Valence Scam combo. Could be Mono Red Burn with fetch lands. Who knows? Lotus Petal. Okay. Well, that gives away a little bit more information. And I hope this is Blue Black Fantastic Car, and they're going for the car right now because I'm pretty rolled up against that. Basic Island, Ponder. Okay, are we just playing around days with that Lotus Petal? What's going on? Okay, so Sneak and Show, Doomsday, Demir Fantastic Car. This is now the range. I don't think Storm has a basic island in it. Ponder did not shuffle, and we've got a Bloodstained Mire. Some kind of Demir Reanimator is in the range. I don't think Bloodstained Mire would be in Sneak and Show. And I'm going to go for Phelia here. Just trying to push my nut draw into this likely combo deck. If they fight here, I don't think I'm going to fight back. I guess it depends like how they fight. If it's days, I'm not forcing that. If they force, depends on what they pitch to force to get more information. Like, if this is a combo deck, I'd rather let them use their counterplay on Phelia and then I force their combo. But we'll see what they think about here, what they care about. Basic Swamp in there. All right, can I find the land? Not right away. I could scam Riddler here. I'm going to brainstorm first. Wow, the full miss. Okay. I'm going to put back Phelia and Plow. And I'm just going to attack. And I'll flicker out their Lotus Petal. The problem is, like, they're certainly a combo deck. And at this point, it looks like Doomsday or Car combo. Or, you know, that could be both, of course, Vroomsday. And tapping out of Consign versus that deck to put a 4-6 into play doesn't matter. These are also Daze decks, where if I tap out for Quantum Riddler, miss on the land, now Daze counters my force, and I can't even Consign. Dark Ritual. Flow State. Okay. They're going to work. Grinding. That's 2 spells. Now if they play the car and protect it with counter, that's 4 spells already, so they can't car me this turn, even if they can win a fight over car. Okay, and then burned off 2 black mana. Had no way to spend it after the flow state. I like that. All right, Brainstorm. I get to see 2 new cards here. Is one of them a fetch land? Yes, indeed. Okay, good. We're back in business, team. So now I've got Consign, Stifle, Force to try to survive this 8-card hand out of whatever my combo deck opponent is. And I know I can be stifling this Lotus Petal from coming back into play. I don't think that's what the game's about. If this were Sneak and Show, who had just missed a land drop, maybe, but it's not. This is a deck where Stifle and Consign interact with their win conditions. Another flow state. That happens. We're still setting up. Did they find the land yet? It would be pretty cool if they just go to discard and dump 2 cards here. I would not complain. Boo. That's 1 spell. I think I would have to force a Thoughtseize here. Oh, I don't have to force a Duress, though. All right, yeah, Duress is fine. You can't take me off anything here with Duress. And Quantum Riddler is the card I'd be trying to protect if I had gotten Thoughtseized. That's 2 spells. Took a Consign. And fetching in the end step here. Getting rid of some white cards. And I hope I don't draw new white cards to replace them. Blue cards only from here on out. That's a blue card. Okay. I'm warping. It's warp time. Opponent has seen my hand. It behooves me to change my hand as much as I can here to mask the information that they think they have. I think I would force back here. Okay. Don't have to think about it. Didn't have it. Daze. Not only is that a blue card, it's a blue card with its own text box. That matters. All right, now Phelia is really doing something. She attacked for 8, which is quite a bit of damage, but hasn't actually done anything with her trigger yet. But now we're moving. Both players have 7 cards in hand, and I've drawn another Phelia. I'm also in the position now where a combat race is possible versus the Fantastic car. Like, if they do somehow break the car through this wall of interaction, I can block one of them, take 12 to 5, attack, flicker another one of them out, block another one, go to 1. Okay, there's Dark Ritual. Here's the Fantastic car. If we're going to fight, this is where we fight. Because if they have counter spells now, those count towards their spells for the turn. Where this is 2. If they force back, that's 3. I force again. If they win that fight, that's 4. And that means the car can't break this turn, even if everything goes how they want. Okay, I think holding on to the Daze is better than holding on to the other Riddler here. Because that just has, like I said, its own text box that could matter here. Okay, 3 spells cast already. Ponder. And there's that big showdown. We both had 7 spells in our hand. Now we both have 3. Opponent has pondered up to 4. I'm not going to Stifle a fetch land. If they fetch, get Underground Sea, cast Doomsday here, and I get to Daze it, I'm going to be so hyped. But they just die if they play Doomsday. I don't think there's a 0 mana fast pile in the current builds of Doomsday. And they would go to 5 life, and I'd attack for 7. Did not shuffle Ponder. That's distressing. Okay. I'm getting a turn. Wasteland's got to be good, I think. Okay, so I could put my opponent to 4, or I could put them to 8 and draw another card. I think putting them to 4 is the play. Attack. Flicker out this Lotus Petal. Wasteland. Hope you needed that. Okay. I am a little more stressed out than I was last turn. And the card does kill me here. Or no, I could flash at Phelia to... Nope, they fly. Of course they fly. Yep, okay. So they only have 4 cards. They have 3 cards plus this random Surveil right now. So if they do play and crack the car, it would cost the whole hand. Thoughtseize is pretty devastating, not gonna lie. Alright, well, Thoughtseize happens. Am I dead to the car? Is Daze gonna just save me here? They're at 1 after this Thoughtseize resolves. They literally can't Doomsday anymore. It has to be car. Yeah, maybe actually... Like, I even though I just talked about it last turn, I was not considering the being at 15 without a blocker. Like, maybe it is better to attack with Phelia, draw the extra card, next turn attack for 8. So that's 11 damage over 2 turns, which is it's the same clock, but I get to draw an extra card, and I can beat the Fantastic car straight up. Yeah, I am sure that I messed this up. Even if I end up getting away with this game, that was not a good turn that I just played. They can't fetch, they can't force. 2 spells. Yeah, I guess all I can do is Daze here and hope that they don't have a free spell as the last card in their hand. Okay, wow. Yeah, they scooped, but yeah, I left the door open to lose that game. If I just don't attack with Quantum Riddler, that game is much better for me. Okay. Yikes. Right, Force Negation for sure coming in. Wrath of the Skies gives me insulation. If the card does crack, it gives me a 2-mana answer to the cars, but Wrath is not good against the entire Doomsday half of the deck. I did a little sleuthing, and I found a 5-0 posted by my opponent earlier today. They do have a juke with Bowmasters, Murktides, Barrowglyphs, and pushes in the board. Okay, there's a good chance I won't be playing against a combo deck at all here. So this might be a play draw situation. I think I'm going to bet on black here and not bring in my combo stuff. And I am going to bring in my anti-black cards, kill the creatures tech. And I'm still a Daze, Force of Will, Stifle, Consigned to Memory deck, even without that. Do I want to hedge anything? I could leave 1 Wrath in here. That also, in the mid-game, could clean up a bunch of Bowmasters and stuff. Okay, I'm taking a big bet here. Okay, my hand is a bunch of Stifles. I am going to keep this hand. Stifle plus Daze is a pretty punishing early game. Opponent mulled to 5. Oh god, please pass the turn with this fetch land up. Oh yeah. Alright, Tundra's in play. We did it. Yeah, this Mull to 5, leaving this fetch land back might be trying to play around Wasteland, but it's going to play straight into Stifle, a card that I have multiples of in my hand. And I have the Phelia scam now that I found my second land. Basic Swamp shows up. All right, let's go. I'll try to make this one quick. Another fetch land, unlucky. All right, I am going to play out the Phelia here. If they fetch in response to my fetch, I'll just stifle them, but I am pretty interested in Phelia. Okay, you've unlocked your mana. That's fine. A deck full of stifleable objects. All right, I'm going to send it. Quantum Riddler. I can Daze a Bowmaster. Yeah, Fatal Push is going to get me. That's fine. Draw a card. Basic Island. That leaves Stifle up. I'll pass the turn. Okay, so Mull to 5. I stuffed one of their lands. One of their cards was a reactive Fatal Push. Brainstorm resolves. Lotus Petal. 2 spells. Okay, counting spells is not what they're up to. Another Swords to Plowshares. I'm going to Mystic Sanctuary and decline. I don't actually want a Stifle. I want a spell or a land to play this Riddler. Flow state that is not flowing yet. That is for 1. We've reached the phase of the game where Wrath of the Skies actually does clean up a broken Fantasticar. Ponder. Another Phelia, another Riddler. Sick. I would like those cards in that order. No shuffle, pass the turn. And now, even if they Thoughtseize me, I could flash out the Phelia and the Riddler safe on top of the deck. It just did nothing with their turn. Could be Bowmaster, could be a bunch of combo pieces they're not ready to move on. Could be another Fatal Push. Many things could be true here. Represent my combo. Force, pitching, force. Okay. I don't have any counterplay for that. I'll return to my gameplay of flickering out your Lotus Petal. Turns out reactive spells was the answer to what's in their hand right now. And I'm drawing a Brainstorm here, I think. Is that what I put there? Yeah, cool. Good job, me. Remembering the basic things that my deck did. All right, I don't think I want this many Swords to Plowshares. My opponent clearly doesn't have Bowmaster. They had multiple chances to cast it. I'm going to get rid of a Plow, and I might not want this Wasteland either. I still kind of see this Wrath of the Skies as a buyout if things get really nasty. Ponder, Murktide Regent, and Force of Will. Okay. I'll put the Force in my hand and bank the Murktide for next turn. Don't lose is my primary objective here. I'm incidentally winning as long as I don't lose. I'm not stifling that. Their deck's full of stifleable things, and Stifle is my blue card for Force, or pitch Daze and then have the Stifle. Brainstorm happens. They're making moves. Duress. Okay, well, that happens. That's 2 spells. Took my Force. 3, 4. Okay. I can Daze the Doomsday, stifle the fetch land, cost them their Lotus Petal. They go to 6 here. All right, I am going to cast Daze. Let's at least cost them something. I don't think letting Doomsday resolve with a fetch that gets them deeper into the Doomsday pile. Plus, okay, so they used the Petal rather than the fetch land. That lets me keep the Stifle without even having to be smart about it. Okay, cool. Doomsday happens. Opponent goes to 6. I'm drawing Murktide, and they know I have Stifle. So what I have to hope for here, okay, they just put a Duress in the pile, and they're doing this from 0 cards. So they would have to get through this pile, like that Duress would have to be drawn into somehow. And I know I'm presenting Murktide next turn. I hope that they think I only have Phelia, and then that's what we're doing. I guess something like Doomsday goes to the graveyard, Brainstorm on top of the deck, Brainstorm into Flow State. Flow State actually sees multiple cards. Opponent has somehow drifted under 5 minutes on their clock to my 17.5. I didn't feel like they were playing that slow. That's weird. Guess I've just been locked in on my own business. Okay, we see the sideboard strat. There are no monsters in here. Or, nope, there are Bowmasters. Bowmaster, Bowmaster. Okay, there's Bowmasters, but there's not a whole Dothy Voidwalker contingent of things. Here's the Murktide. Attacking is what I'm going to do first. Okay, so let's count this mana. Brainstorm, 3 mana left. Flow State, 2 mana left. Fetch, get the deck empty. So the Brainstorm leaves 1 card in hand. Flow State's now 2 cards in hand. Can the 2 cards in hand be +1 mana, Duress, and Thassa's Oracle? I don't know. I'm not smart enough to Doomsday. I will deploy the Smirktide and hope that they were counting on having an extra turn. We got the GGs in the chat. Okay, cool. A stressful matchup, but it is the one that this deck is currently well positioned in the meta to address. And we're 4-1. It's a 6-round tournament. No draws are allowed on Magic Online. I don't play a lot of challenges or showcases, so I don't know the tournament math. But we're getting at least one more round, and then maybe top 8 after that. Let's go. I'm excited to be a special guest for the Excalibur events Niagara Falls weekend, September 25th through 27th, 2026. This event features the pre-modern scaling 25K with $10,000 guaranteed and $5,000 added to the prize pool at 275, 350, and 450 players for a total of $25,000. Gold border and collector's edition cards are legal in this tournament, and you can use up to 10 playtest cards to fill out your deck. Be sure to check the FAQ on the Excalibur website to follow their playtest card policy. This has a chance of being the biggest pre-modern event ever. Sign up now and use code BOSH for $5 off entry. I hope I'll see you there. I'm on the draw in the final round of Swiss. Island Ponder Keep, baby. My opponent's username includes the words Delver, and their avatar is Delver of Secrets. Let's see if that's true. We've got a Scalding Tarn. Good chance they're telling the truth. The Underground Sea. If this casts a Delver of Secrets, I'll be pretty surprised. If you direct your attention to the clock, it has taken my opponent 5 minutes to cast Thoughtseize. I don't know if they're having connectivity issues or double queuing or what's going on here. I'm not going to force a Thoughtseize. We'll see what's going on. If this is a Broomsday strategy, it would be Thoughtseize, Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual, Car. So they can't get to 4 spells this turn for Car. They could go Petal Doomsday, and they know they have to beat Consign and Stifle with their pile, which makes it much more easy to do if you know it's coming. Could also just be Dimir Tempo, and they take the Swords to Plowshares, and then my hand is not very good. Or they could take the Ponder and bet that I won't find my second land in time for them to beat me up. Hey, after another 2 minutes, 2 full minutes, they took the Ponder. They know my weakness. Island Ponder, too strong. Brainstorm. That's kind of like Ponder, but I'm less willing to cast it on turn 1. Another Thoughtseize. Okay, I'm going to Brainstorm in response to this. The worst they can do to me is Daze. But they took my cantrip last turn, and I kind of need to see some cards here. Gonna cast it while I can. Okay, found a land. I'm gonna go Force of Will and Ponder to the top. Or now I have Ponder and Brainstorm. Yeah, I'll go Force and Ponder. I'll keep them guessing. Hiding the Force, because they could take it if they wanted it anyway, and I might as well put it in the bank for the future. I'll be interested to see if they're now worried about Plow now that I have white mana, or if they're just not a creature deck at all. Are they suddenly worried about Murktide because my graveyard's getting kind of stocked here? Are they still on the take the cantrips plan? Okay, Murktide's gone. And fetching while I don't have Stifle up. Ponder. Okay. That's not Dark Ritual. We're in good shape. Okay. Now I've got some options. I can play this Ponder. I could play the Brainstorm. The Brainstorm would mix up their information even more. Yeah, I'm actually going to Brainstorm. Cool. Okay. I don't think I want to get rid of this Swords to Plowshares. Do I need both forces? Yeah, this is the squeeze. I just don't know what their deck is. I'm going to go Consign and Force on top and just play Flooded Strand. If they make a combo send and I fend it off here, okay, the third Thoughtseize. Are they interested in Force of Will now? Or is this just not what we're doing and they're going to take the Plow and start beating me with a Nethergoyf? If they do take the Force, I can go to my turn and draw a replacement copy, play my land, and pass. Okay, Swords to Plowshares it is. And Nethergoyf is in the business. There's a Wasteland. Okay. Well, I'm going to fetch basic planes here and try to address this Nethergoyf. Now at least I know what I'm playing against. Meticulous Archive. You stink. Ponder. Quantum Riddler. You rule. Okay, so I think what I want to do here is put the other Stifle in my hand. I can pitch that to Force and I won't miss it. I can Stifle the Wasteland. Or I could Stifle in Quantum Riddler next turn. Brainstorm happens. Yeah, this clock situation's interesting. I mean, if I get Kaito'd here, I have Stifle for that too. Yeah, the clock, them taking as long as they did to... And it's taken them over 10 minutes to develop another Goyf here and start attacking me, and this match is very likely to be grindy. I don't want to be thinking about that. I'm just saying it's not irrelevant. If there's a Ponder on top of my deck, I think I want to leave it there. So what happens about Bowmaster? No, that's fine. I'll leave that there. I would force a Bowmaster. They know about one of these Stifles. They don't know about the second one. I'm not fighting over their mana. I want to fight over Kaito's and Wastelands with my Stifles here. Or scam in my Riddler. They dumped a Brainstorm with Undercity Sewers. Interesting. I tend to prioritize that card a lot of the time. All right, Ponder. We'll see if there's a Bowmaster in the mix. Doesn't appear to be. There is a Murktide region in the mix. And another Ponder. I could go Wasteland, Riddler, Stifle the Riddler in, and then have Murktide ready for next turn. Yeah, this opens me up to Wasteland, but I don't think I care. If I get a Quantum Riddler, whatever. I guess if they Wasteland me before my end step, or no, yeah, the Warp Trigger doesn't happen till the end step. This is not Phyrexian Dreadnought. So this was possible for me to mess up. Okay, if they hardcast a Force here, I'll pitch cast my Force and then I draw 2 cards and we are all the way in business. I pitch the Stifle, Riddler hits, draw 2, end step Stifle to keep it. Nice. Okay, pretty good. This creature is better than their creature. They would need an Edict or a Snuff Out to remove a creature of this size. And Hardcast Kaito and tap it also plays, but Murktide would bully that. I don't care about getting Wastelanded anymore. I've done what I need to do with my mana. Barrowgoyf, that's a big one. I would happily trade Murktide Region for Barrowgoyf in this environment. I draw for turn Murktide Regent. There is still a Mystic Sanctuary in my deck, so I'm leaving Plow in the graveyard. Gigantic Murktide summoned. And then I'm going to Ponder for 2 cards here. And found Force and Plow. Money. Plow the Barrowgoyf. Attack with the Quantum Riddler. And now I think the corner is completely turned. Attack. And I'm going to keep my Wasteland up to pay for a Daze. If their hand right now is like Snuff Out plus Daze, they'd at least have to move into combat to kill it. Okay, cool. Up a game, up a ton of clock. Celestial Purge, Triumph of St. Cath, Prismatic Ending. We did see Nethergoyfs, which means they are lower to the ground. But we also saw Barrowgoyf, though they have a little bit of both. I'm not expecting like Baleful Strix out of this deck, given the range that we've seen. Okay, this is 7 cards out and 6 cards in. I could keep my Wrath of the Skies. I could keep a Force. I could keep 1 Daze to keep my opponent honest. I don't think I want Containment Priest. I don't think I want Surgical. My removal's white anyway. It's not like Nethergoyf's going to end up in the graveyard. I guess I'll keep the Wrath then. It could matter if the game gets super long, though I don't actually think it's good in these matchups. That's a trap. Speaking of traps, this hand, I'll mull it. The basic plains, mono blue cards. I'll go to 5. Come on, deck. 4? Okay, keep. I will put one of the Phelias and Stifle, and I guess it's the other Phelia. No, it's Plow and Plow. All right. That was disgusting. You play decks like this so you don't have to mull to 4 chasing playable hands. Just a good spread of lands, cantrips, and castable cards. So if my opponent spends as much time playing this game as they did game 1, there won't be a game 3. We're at 11.5 to 1940. And I don't normally focus on this so much, but this is a matchup that this is going to matter. And they're playing like shockingly slow. I have to assume internet issues. I don't assume that they're double queuing or being disrespectful in some way. It is notable how slow this is. Underground Sea, Thoughtseize. All right. Have at it. Played around Thoughtseize by barely having any spells in my hand anyway. That was smart. Good job, me. Well, that's the best card I could have pretty much. Do I want to brainstorm now to hide the goods from a possible Thoughtseize and play around a possible Bowmaster? I think I do. Ooh, okay. I'm going to put Phelia and Quantum Riddler back. I've got Force Blue card. Now the plan is send Quantum Riddler, force their Bowmaster, ride it to victory. So I can't scam it in. It's just a draw 2. I'd be spewing 2 cards to draw 2 cards after being down 3 cards on a mulligan. Not a great exchange, but Quantum Riddler does let decks be pretty aggressive with their cards. They've got Polluted Delta. Oh, moved to combat, then decided to fetch. Well, I'm all in on drawing cards, so I'll force that. That is what we drew up. They didn't daze me back, so I'm going to get to draw Phelia and 1 mystery card here. It's even a white source. All right. We're so back. Tapped Undercity Sewer. Another Bowmaster in the old main phase arena before I get to draw any cards. Okay, Phelia could ambush this, or I could just purge it. My pants are down to a wasteland. If their hand right now is some Barrogoyfs, I'm actually in okay shape. Like, if they attack with Bowmaster, Phelia eats it in combat. Attack with Phelia, flicker out the Orc army, Celestial Purge Barrogoyf, and now I'm ahead on a stable board. I can imagine how this could go my way. And presumably their deck has removal in it or counterspells. I'm still gonna just make the best play available to me, assuming my opponent has nothing. Okay, another Bowmaster. Doing that before blocks is interesting. They could have got me on the hook. Oh, they just have all 4 Bowmasters. Okay, I see what you're up to. I'm with it. Okay. Fair enough. Uh-oh. Well, I won't be casting that. All right, I'm going to purge one of these Bowmasters and pass the turn. Tameo. Wow. Okay. Here she is again. My goddess. My queen. The Triumph of St. Cath. She completely stabilizes this board. Or at least makes the game take a lot longer. Which is good for me. Yeah, it's just Tameo coming in now. Let's go. Cracking a clue. Ponder. This will flip Tameo. Thoughtseize and Ponder are the only cards in the graveyard right now. Let's just flip the other Triumph right now. That would be great. Tameo flips. A land that's not Wasteland. Plus Tameo. Snuff out. Okay. Puts that back in my deck where it might just show up right now. All right, let's just flip it again. Easy game. Miracle. Uh-oh. Well, I can't really cast that. I die. Literally die. So I'll pass the turn. I'll take my 5 damage and then hope Triumph is the next card down. But Tameo could buy back the snuff out anyway. Well, I'm not conceding. It'll probably take them a minute or so to finish this game out. And I play to my outs. Wasteland. All right, well, my outs are very few now. Barrogoyf did hit the Triumph on the second look. And I'm going to be a jerk and cast Brainstorm during combat. Just let them stack their triggers. I'm dead anyway. Okay. I'm on the play for game 3. And Quads Bowmaster. Some dirty business. Daze gets better on the play. Do I want... How many of these do I want in? And they have snuff outs and stuff. They can play on zeros. And Stifle is a bit worse against their deck in general. Though stifling them on the play is pretty hot. I still don't really believe in Wrath of the Skies as a thing. I'll get a second Daze in here. On the play... Jeez, deck. Alright, I'm going to keep Soft to Wasteland, but just looking for action. My hand is excellent if my opponent doesn't have Wasteland, and I need to hit one of my other 18 lands in my deck if they do. Archive, Wasteland on top. I'm going to bin that. That's not the type of land I'm looking for. Okay, they did not play a Wasteland. I've got a Tameo, and I've got a Wasteland. I know they can play on basics, but that does make it harder to do stuff. Didn't fetch at all. Okay, another land that's not Wasteland. Good news. I will Force of Will an Orcish Bowmaster if they play it. I won't force a Snuff out. Tundra. Okay. We're moving. I think I just want to hold Celestial Purge here. I can play a careful control game, get 2 cards out of Quantum Riddler, or develop Murktide at some point. It's not me that has to win in 4.5 minutes. Underground Sea. It's probably Barrogoyf. Okay, that resolves. I'll purge it in the end step. And I will force back over this if they force, which they didn't do. Swords to Plowshares. I can't play Murktide here. I could Wasteland them. I don't want to encourage them to do that, though. All right, I am gonna Riddler here, while Bowmaster can't be the punish. Okay, hit my land drop. That's good stuff. A Wasteland. All right, that was a problem for a while. It's not anymore. Barrogoyf, you got it. Draw for turn. Swords to Plowshares. Fetch another Tundra. Tameo. And do I want a Wasteland? I think the answer is still no. They had their 4th land anyway. Children's Edict. Okay. My creature's dead. Bowmaster. All right, that's fine. I can prismatically end that. Days, right on time. All right, well, I'm just going to ram Murktide. All right, that's a big one. Rainstorm happens. Flow state, that's not operational. Okay, that's fine. Anticipate resolves. Wasteland, could be good. Tameo, could be good. Yeah, this Wasteland does take me off Prismatic Ending, but not for Tameo. Okay, now I can Prismatic End whatever I want. I'm going to Prismatically end Tameo. And how do I mitigate Kaito here? I would love to just tee off, but that makes Kaito really good. All right, I think I'm just going to hold Murktide. Like, if they want to Kaito me, it's going to cost them Bowmaster at least. Brainstorm. Thoughtseize. Okay, yeah, well, that happens. 15. All right, they're Hellbent. I'm not playing around Kaito anymore. I am sending it. I am winning the race. And Kaito beats me in the race anyway, and they would have to just come up with it here. Fetch to 9. Let's see something go to the graveyard. Something irrelevant. All right, land to the graveyard. Attack. Is it there? It's not there. Good news. More cards that I'm unlikely to cast this game. All right, keep smushing. This is what we do around here. And end step Petty Theft. That's pretty good. All right, well, I can daze the Brazen Borrower if they just immediately cast it. That's not available. Tameo. It's a good one. Attacking with the Orcs. I'll go to my turn. Force of Will. I like that. Okay. Wasteland. I do want to constrict their options now. Like making clues, casting Brazen Borrower. These are all things I'm not the most hyped about necessarily. Okay. Brazen Borrower can resolve. Murktide will beat that in combat. Got a 5/5 again. Force of Will backing it up this time. Ponder. I don't think I can spend my interaction on that. Let's see a shuffle. Didn't shuffle. Oh god, this is fucking Kaito. Yep, that's the only thing that makes sense. I'll block the one that's the worst if they pick it back up. What if they just didn't find Kaito on that Ponder? What about that? What a world that would be. Okay, well, they have to stun Murktide at least. Removal spell. Tameo. I mean, that blocks, I guess. Okay. Tameo's in. Wasteland. Settle down! Oh my god! Alright, ninjas get +1/+1. Cracking a clue. Tameo's not my problem here. Okay, in what ways am I dead? If I take 2 this turn, and then 7 next turn, I get another turn. If I take 5 this turn, then they stun. I'm dead next turn as well. All right, I'm going to chump block Kaito and play to the clock here if I can get it. Another land. They're stunning Murktide again. Just doing tricks on it, I guess. God, losing this game to someone with sub 1 minute on their clock is so annoying. Yeah, keep taking game actions. Thoughtseize, yeah. Have a look. You're at 2. Thoughtseize me again. Swords to Plowshares. Not on time here. All right, they got me. 33 seconds on the clock. Tough beats. Okay, I don't know if this is a top 8 record or not. Okay, apparently I'm in 7th. We've got a top 8 coming. I'm on the draw in the top 8. I will keep my hand. tapped Undercity Sewer, left the card on top. I kind of want to just beat this up. They did keep the card on top. I don't know what they're doing, though. Verdant Catacombs. Moon Shadow. Okay, cool. This is what's going on. I'll take it. Force of Will is not a bad find here. That can help keep the pressure off. This might be a Moon Shadow Fantastic card deck. I know that's a thing that exists. Force Pitching Ponder. I'm going to Force Pitching Stifle. And I would like this to be my plan. Come on, Tameo. Nether Goyf. Verdant Catacombs. 1 card left. Is it time to dump them out? Attack for 2 happens. I was about to say I'm looking for white cards, and I found one. There's a good chance they would daze this Brainstorm. I'm going to cast this first. Okay, didn't happen. Now I have my own daze. I'm going to put back Quantum Riddler and one of the Tundras. Tameo flips, plus Tameo, Tundra, plow the Moon Shadow immediately, and pass. Okay, some nice stability. Got another Tundra where that came from. And I can buy this plow back turn after next. I could do it now, but Tameo would die with it, and I'm not interested. Plus Ponder, other Tameos, and Quantum Riddler. I don't want the third Tameo. The second one blocks, though. All right. Tameo in my hand. Play it out. Now I got a blocker and a Planeswalker. Just a miracle of modern design that your Planeswalker can also protect itself as a creature. Oh, good sequencing by the opponent. They played a second Nethergoyf, which I didn't interact with because I figured I would just plow it. But now that's not available because they had the Wasteland under it. All right, Tameo up to 7. Opponent's going to start having to put 1 damage a turn on Tameo, and I am actually outpacing that. I could counter a removal spell. I'm not going to fight over this Brainstorm. In last game, that Ponder into Kaito, forcing the Ponder would make it slower for them to find Kaito. Oh, that card was good. And countering it doesn't matter. Like, I could make it slower for them to find the Kaito, but that doesn't... That's the only card it's better to do it that way against. Okay, this is the other Tameo now. I'm just gonna tread water until I hit a land. There are no creatures in the graveyard. If they have another creature and I force it, that actually makes Nethergoyf big enough to beat creature Tameo in combat. Fatal Push. There are instants in the graveyard already. I'm gonna force pitching Daze on that one. Or force pitching extra Tameo. Daze might still have some action. Okay, more attacks on Tameo. I am drawing wild now. Literally just a land would do a lot here. All right, if I spend a turn casting Ponder, what does that game look like? I think that's better for me. I'm going to grab Ponder out of my graveyard and cast it. Okay, found a bunch of lands. That's good stuff. I'm going to go... I already have a Stifle. I'll take Polluted Delta with Wasteland under it, and I'll Stifle in a Quantum Riddler next turn. And then I'll just have the biggest creature on the board. Tameo dies this turn anyway. I'm not going to block. So I might as well bank a clue. Moon Shadow. All right, that's a 1/1 for now. Bobble makes it 2/2. Okay, they are attacking Tameo with both creatures, playing around a removal spell. That saves me 3 life. You draw a card. I draw a card. Okay, Wasteland. And can I afford a Tundra here? I think I have to. All right, Tundra. Warp Riddler. Draw a card. Tameo is a useful blocker here because there's a menace creature. And I'm going to consign this because Stifle could be useful against my opponent's deck at some point. All right, we got him. Holding down. That's what I need from my opponent right now. Just relax. I'm going to draw a card. Was not the land I was looking for. It's a lot of dazes. Ponder. Okay, Tameo can flip this turn if I want her to. I don't know that I do. Phelia is great. Is Phelia great? No, Phelia stinks. Wrath of the Skies is almost good, but I don't have double white. Swords of Plowshares is excellent. I think I just have to shuffle this. This is kind of bad. I guess I could develop Phelia as a blocker and have Plow available next turn. All right. I'll buy that. Another Nethergoyf. How many dazes am I willing to cast on a Nethergoyf? I could daze this 3 times. That all that shit does grow Moonshadow, but that lets me draw more with Riddler, but I'm starting next turn with 1 land in play. Yeah, I'm off it. Okay, end step Phelia. I think I will double daze something like Fatal Push. Okay, that's not what happened. If Phelia attacks, she's done. So I think what I want to do is have Tamiyo attack here, and that puts a clue in the bank. And then I can still double block Moonshadow if that attacks. And then Swords to Plowshares makes combat even worse for my opponent now. Blue to Delta. I'm not going to stifle that if it happens. Moonshadow is attacking. Looks like they're willing to trade that one with Phelia, which is a reasonable thing to do. I'll save my plow. There are bigger fish to fry here. I'm going to fry one of those fish right now. Ooh, Force of Will. I have no amount of dazes that will help me with that. But what I can do is hit my second white source underneath this Wrath and take over the whole game. Yeah. Oh, no, I'm out of Tundras. 2 Tundras have been wasted already. I have to spend a turn getting Meticulous Archive. Awkward. But okay. I'm going to crack a clue. Oh, I could have just done that. No, I wouldn't have had enough. It's fine. It's fine. It works. Okay, so it's Touch Butts with Netherglyph, Chump with Tamiyo, Wrath of the Skies, kill everything. Tamiyo's gonna die anyway. I can't get her where she needs to be fast enough to survive the Wrath. And then fetch Meticulous Archive. Finds Brainstorm. That card's pretty good. Okay, 1 card in their hand can't be Force Blue card. Those are the rules. I'm gonna Brainstorm first. This is way too many dazes. Oh good, more dazes. More lands. A Wasteland might become good here in the near future. I'm gonna go Island or yeah, it's Daze and Island to the bottom, I think. Okay. And then fetch for Plains. 1, 2. Am I going to Stifle or Wasteland this turn? I'm going to Wasteland this turn, because if I Wasteland and then Daze the Netherglyph on the way back up, that does what I need. All right, the main deck Wrath, finding a home among the people. Waste you. Start pushing damage. Daze the Netherglyph on the escape. Waste you again. Then you need another land just to cast Netherglyph into Daze again. All right, I guess I'm dazing this one twice. Daze. Is there a fetchable left in the deck? Oh, called the bluff. Wow, that was a really good game. Now Celestial Purge, Triumph of St. Cath come in. I actually do want Wraths here, unlike versus Delver where they have 5 drops or 2 drops, 4 drops, and 7 drops you got to kill. This is a deck with 1 drops. And this is a little bit tricky because there are decks out there in the world that are Fantasticar, Dimir Tempo, Moonshadow decks. And if I do something like cut all my forces, cut all my dazes, bring in white removal, this is what I would want to do versus a pure black aggro deck. But I don't know if I can do it here. I can leave in all my stifles, 2 forces, and then the Wraths do technically have play versus Fantasticar. All right, I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna board against the deck I saw and hope there's not a surprise. I'll keep this hand. It's a little slow. It's a little soft to Wasteland, but it does have the Force plus Reload game plan. I'm gonna let that in. My deck has so much white removal in it these days that spending a Force of Will on a Moonshadow feels so reckless. Wasteland, played around it. Bloodchief Thirst. I'm gonna force that. Bobble. Can't block. Illegal. Ponder, hell yeah. I'm in the market for a basic Plains. I can't actually keep this. Yeah, I'm gonna shuffle. Found a Brainstorm. All right. I'll play Mystic Sanctuary tapped. I'm trying to get this Wasteland on the hook for something that's not my white source. Tamiyo can't block anyway. Going in. Another Fatal Push, another removal spell. The Wasteland takes out my Sanctuary. Just how we drew it up. And they did not play out another land. I'm going to Brainstorm. Okay. Basic Plains unlocked here. I'm going to get rid of the Wrath. And I'm going to get rid of... It might just be Brainstorm, actually. I kind of want land drops. And like, what am I brainstorming for? It would be Swords to Plowshares, and I already got a bunch of them. I know my opponent plays counterspells. Cool, they didn't have one. Right, pressure's off for now. They could still have 1-drops in the hand. They have spent their colored mana on the last 2 turns trying to deal with Tameo. They might have just prioritized that over developing another Goyf. They found a land, and there's another Goyf. That's that thing I said. Swords to Plowshares. Keep drawing those. That's what I'm about. Another land on top. I'll take it. Let's go. This is where we turn the corner. Flow state. That is operational. Mishra's Bauble. They see the Scalding Tarn on top of my deck. Scalding Tarn. Warp Riddler. Draw 2. Triumph. I can just hardcast that next turn. That's pretty nice. I'm in the Warp Zone. Didn't rip a Stifle to just keep it. Disappointing. Both of my cards in hand are really good, though. Yeah, Triumph is gone. And there's a Brainstorm. I've still got a Clue. I've already used my Mystic Sanctuary. I'm just grabbing regular old lands here. I'll fetch an island while I can. These are all my basics now. Crack the Clue. I don't mind getting wastelanded here. The only reason to wait on that was to play around Stifle, which I didn't have anyway. Tameo, nice. All right, I'm going to go Flooded Strand Ponder here. And then Tameo with the Brainstorm flip available on their turn if they have another Sorcery Speed removal. Brainstorm. A fetch. You've seen this plow in my hand. It'll push. There's a trick in this format around this interaction. And here it is. Have you seen this before? All right, I'm going to stack my removal spells on top of my deck. Okay, Fatal Push fizzles. Another Goyf's in. Plus Tameo. I am going to Brainstorm here because I'd rather Prismatic Ending this and keep the plow up as an instant. Holy moly. What do you get for the man who has everything? Prismatic End this, play Murktide. Bang. All right. I am very far ahead right now. Flow state. That's cards. But they are a velocity deck. They have to use their cards to regain velocity, which is a lot harder than just having cards. And Swords to Plowshares again. Quantum Riddler, draw 2. Daze, all right, fair enough. Could have played around that, chose not to. Let's get this momentum. F6, I'm empty over here. We all know it. The 4th Netherglyph for my 5th removal spell. Tameo, get back. Swords to Plowshares. I guess I could have left Prismatic Ending in the graveyard to save gaining them life here. It's a small miscalculation. Bonus Tameo. Ooh, Petty Theft. All right. Yep. That's one of the cards they could have. Do they have the Thoughtseize to finish it off? All right. Main phase to play around Daze. It's a miracle. I'll take this one just fine. Plus Tameo. Pass. Triumph of St. Catherine still coming up strong. All day. Moon Shadow. A lot less scary on turn 11 than on turn 1. I will block this. If there's a Bowmaster to finish off Tameo, that's fine, but I'm not letting them have anything for free here. And they've had enough. The blue-white deck overtakes the blue-black extra aggressive tempo deck. On to the top 4. Well, folks, some disappointing news. This challenge was a Wednesday evening right after downtime and a big patch was pushed to Magic Online, which is always a dubious time to try to do anything important on the client. And I was kicked off the client after top 8, and it has taken me over an hour to get it working again through the help of the MTGO support team through their Discord channel and stuff. I mean, they were great helping me do this, but my match is long over. We will not be getting the top 4 or the finals. I was messaging with Eco Baronin, who is apparently in the finals. Good luck to him. But we still got 7 matches for the channel when we normally get 5. Hard to be upset about that. As far as the debrief goes, this deck does continue to perform. I like it a lot. I feel like there's a little bit too much tech land. Like, I think the Mystic Sanctuary might be a step too far for me here. Meticulous Archive is a given. 4 Wastelands, that's a lot, but it is part of the plan. The Mystic Sanctuary did kind of gum up the works a couple times and almost never mattered. Like, we don't have a flow state or a stock up or anything like that to get back, because our draw engine is Quantum Riddler. Having Mystic Sanctuary mess up your early development when you're trying to curve out and daze people for the payoff of in the super late game I can get a Ponder back. No thanks. I would not play with this card. But otherwise, the deck is strong, it's coherent, and I don't know what the format will look like by the time this video goes live, but we did play against one fantastic card deck, and we beat it pretty well. Having a handful of forces, consigns, and stifles when you know that's what your opponent's trying to thread together is pretty sick. I don't think this shell would change very much if just Fantastic Art were banned. We'll see what the metagame does by and large, how it responds to that, if more than one thing is banned, if nothing is banned. To be determined. I'm going to leave this one here, though. It is 11:30 at night. My bedtime is usually around 9:30. I stayed up to do this, and then I stayed up to fix Magic Online after it broke. I'm very tired. I'm going to leave this here. Andrew, thanks for sending it in. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon to support the channel and to get the updates of what I'll actually be playing at Eternal Weekend, whatever the metagame looks like at that time. All that stuff will be over there. I'm out of here. See you next time.